Close your eyes. You're standing in a crowd on a hill outside Jerusalem. It's Friday morning. The sun is climbing, but you can already feel what's coming. The air is thick. You hear voices, rough voices, soldiers barking orders in Latin. You hear wood dragging on stone. You hear breathing, labored, desperate, and then you see her. She's moving through the crowd, not pushing, just moving. People step aside without knowing why. Her face is set, not crying, not yet. Her eyes are locked on something ahead of you. You turn, you see him, bloodied, bent under the weight of a crossbeam, stumbling forward. And you realize she's following her son to his execution. This is Mary, and what she is about to experience in the next 6 hours will break her in ways the Bible doesn't describe, but every mother understands. Let's go back, not to the beginning of this day, but to the beginning of the night before. Picture Mary in a house in Jerusalem. It's late. She's visiting for Passover. Maybe staying with friends, maybe with John's family, we don't know. But she knows Jesus is in the city. She knows the tension has been building. She's heard the whispers. The Pharisees want him dead. The crowds are fickle. The Romans are watching. She's a mother. She feels it in her bones. Something is wrong. She lies down but doesn't sleep. The house is quiet. Oil lamps burn low. And somewhere in a garden across the Kidron Valley, her son is praying so hard he's sweating blood. She doesn't know that yet. But she will. Picture her waking before dawn. Not because she slept and woke naturally, but because she never really slept. She sits up. The house is still dark. She hears footsteps outside. Voices, too many voices, too early. Someone knocks. The door opens. And a face she recognizes, maybe another woman, maybe one of the younger disciples, steps inside. And the look on that face tells her everything. They took him. Follow Mary through the streets of Jerusalem in the early morning darkness. The city is waking. Merchants setting up stalls. Pilgrims stirring. Roman soldiers changing shifts, but Mary isn't seeing any of it. She's moving toward the high priest's house. Someone told her that's where they took him. Her sandals slap the stones. Her breath comes fast. She's not running, but she's not walking either. Somewhere between the two. The gait of a woman who knows she's too late to stop what's happening but can't stop moving toward it anyway. She reaches the courtyard. There are people everywhere. Servants, guards, onlookers. She hears shouting from inside, accusations. She can't get close. She stands in the courtyard and she waits. Hours pass. The sky begins to light, and then she sees Peter. He's standing by a fire. She recognizes his face in the firelight. She starts toward him. But before she reaches him, a servant girl points at him and says something. And Peter, the man who swore he would die for her son, looks terrified and says, "I don't know him." Once, twice, a third time. And then a rooster crows, and Peter's face crumples. He sees Mary. Their eyes meet, and he runs. Picture Mary standing there, alone. The man who was supposed to be the rock just denied her son 3 times and fled. What does that tell her about what's coming? The sun is up now. Follow Mary as she's pushed along by the crowd. They're moving Jesus. She hears the name Pilate, the Roman governor, the praetorium. She follows. The crowd is growing, louder, angrier. She's trying to stay close, but there are too many people. She's small. She's a woman. No one is making space for her. She gets shoved to the side. She climbs onto a low wall to see over the heads, and there he is, standing in front of Pilate. His face is already swollen, blood in his beard. His hands are tied. Pilate is speaking, but she can't hear the words. She sees Pilate gesture to the crowd. She hears the crowd roar back. And the word they're shouting is, "Crucify." Not some of them, all of them. A wave of sound. "Crucify him, crucify him." Picture Mary's face. She's hearing thousands of people screaming for her son's death. People who 5 days ago were waving palm branches and shouting, "Hosanna." Now they want him dead. She doesn't understand. She can't understand, but she's hearing it, and it's not stopping. Pilate brings out another man, Barabbas, a murderer, a rebel. Pilate offers the crowd a choice, Jesus or Barabbas. One goes free. Mary holds her breath. Surely they'll choose her son. Well, they're sick. He fed their hungry. He taught them about the kingdom of God, but the crowd doesn't hesitate. "Barabbas," they scream. "Give us Barabbas." And Pilate, the man with the power to stop this, the man who said he found no fault in Jesus, washes his hands in a basin. A symbolic gesture, a coward's escape. And he hands Jesus over to be flogged. Mary knows what that means. She's seen men after a Roman flogging. Some don't survive it. She tries to move forward. Someone holds her back. Maybe John. Maybe another woman. She's screaming, but no one hears her over the noise of the crowd. They take him inside. The door closes, and she waits. She stands there in the street, surrounded by people celebrating the release of a murderer, and she waits for them to bring out her son. When the door opens again, she barely recognizes him. His back is shredded. The flogging was done with a flagrum, a Roman whip with multiple leather tails, each one embedded with pieces of bone and metal designed to tear flesh. 39 lashes, maybe more. The soldiers weren't counting for mercy. His tunic is soaked with blood, but it's his face that stops her heart. They've put a crown on his head, not gold, thorns. Long, sharp thorns from a thorn bush, twisted into a circle and shoved down onto his skull. Blood runs from his forehead into his eyes. They've put a purple robe on him, mocking him, calling him king. They're laughing. The soldiers are laughing, and her son can barely stand. Picture Mary trying to get to him. She's pushing through the crowd now. She doesn't care who she shoves aside, but the soldiers form a line. No one gets close. She's 10 feet away, close enough to see his face, close enough to see his eyes find hers. And in that moment, what passes between them no one else sees. No gospel records it, but every mother knows it. The look that says, "I'm sorry you have to see this." The look that says, "I love you." The look that says, "I can't stop what's happening." She reaches out her hand. He can't reach back. His hands are still tied. The soldiers pull him away, and the crowd begins to move. They're taking him to Golgotha. Follow Mary through the streets. This is the Via Dolorosa, the way of suffering. Jesus is carrying the crossbeam now. It weighs between 75 and 125 pounds. He's already lost blood. His body is in shock. He takes a few steps and falls. The soldiers yell at him. He gets up. He falls again. Mary is close enough now to hear him breathing. It's not normal breathing. It's the sound of a man whose lungs are struggling, whose body is shutting down. The soldiers grab someone from the crowd, a man from Cyrene, Simon. They force him to carry the cross. Jesus can't do it anymore. Mary watches a stranger carry the instrument of her son's death. The crowd is still shouting. Some are mocking, are weeping. A group of women begins to wail. Jesus stops. He turns to them, and even now, even in this condition, he speaks. "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children." Mary hears his voice. Broken, weak, but still teaching, still thinking of others. Even now, they reach the place. Golgotha, the place of the skull, a small hill outside the city walls. The ground is rocky, uneven. There are already crosses here. 2 other men are being crucified today. Criminals, thieves, and her son will die between them. The soldiers throw the crossbeam on the ground. They force Jesus down onto it. And Mary, standing at a distance because the soldiers won't let her closer, watches them take a hammer and nails. Iron nails, thick, long, 7 to 9 inches. They place the first nail against his wrist, not his palm. The Romans knew that a nail through the palm wouldn't hold the body weight. It had to go through the wrist, between the bones, severing the median nerve. Picture Mary's face when she hears the first strike of the hammer. The sound of iron hitting iron. The sound of iron piercing flesh. Her son's body jerks. He cries out. She flinches like the nail went through her own wrist. They strike again and again, driving the nail through his wrist and into the wood. Then the other wrist. She hears every strike. She can't look away. She can't close her eyes. This is her son. She has to witness it, even if it kills her to do it. They lift the crossbeam. They attach it to the vertical post already planted in the ground. His body is lifted up. His full weight drops onto the nails in his wrists. His shoulders dislocate. You can hear it. A pop, a tear. His breathing changes, faster, shallower. They're not done. They bend his knees. They place his feet one on top of the other against the wood. And they drive another nail through both feet. He screams. The sound is not human. It's the sound of agony beyond words. And Mary, standing there, feels something inside her break. Not her faith, not yet, but something deeper, the part of her that believed God would intervene. The part of her that thought, surely he won't let this happen. That part dies right there, as she watches them nail her son to a cross. The soldiers step back. Their work is done. They sit down at the base of the cross. They divide his clothes among them. They cast lots for his tunic. It's seamless, woven in one piece, valuable. They gamble for it while he bleeds above them. Mary watches this. She watches men gamble for her son's clothing while he's dying 3 feet above their heads, and she doesn't scream. She doesn't collapse. She stands. Because if he's going to suffer this, the least she can do is be present for it. Picture her moving closer now. The soldiers don't stop her. What harm can an old woman do? She walks to the base of the cross. She's close enough now to touch the wood. She looks up, and she sees his face, unrecognizable, swollen, covered in blood and spit and dirt. His eyes are almost swollen shut, but he sees her. She knows he sees her. His chest is heaving. Every breath is a fight. Crucifixion kills by asphyxiation. The position of the body makes it nearly impossible to breathe. To inhale, the victim has to push up on the nails in their feet, pulling against the nails in their wrists, lifting their body just enough to expand the lungs. Then the muscles give out, the body drops, and the cycle starts again. She watches him do this, over and over, pushing up, gasping, dropping, pushing up, gasping, dropping. Each breath is bought with unbearable pain. Hours pass. The sun climbs higher. It's getting hot. No shade. No water. The crowd is still there, but smaller now. Some have lost interest. Some can't watch anymore, but Mary hasn't moved. She's standing at the foot of the cross. John is beside her now. He found her. He's the only one of the 12 who came. The others are hiding, afraid they'll be next. But John is here, and Mary Magdalene, and Mary the wife of Clopas. A small group of women and one young man standing vigil while the Son of God dies. The religious leaders are here too, mocking. He saved others, let him save himself. If you're the Son of God, come down from the cross. They're laughing, taunting, and Mary hears every word. She hears them mock the boy she raised. The man she knows is innocent. The son she knows is exactly who he said he is. And she can't defend him, she can't stop them. She can only stand there and absorb it. Every insult, every jeer, it all lands on her too. Then the sky begins to change. It's noon. The sun should be at its peak, but darkness is spreading. Not clouds, not a storm, just darkness, unnatural, thick. It covers the land. You can barely see your hand in front of your face. The mocking stops. The crowd goes quiet. Even the soldiers look uneasy. Something is happening, something beyond their control. Mary feels it. The air is heavy, oppressive, like the sky itself is mourning. 3 hours. The darkness lasts 3 hours. And in that darkness, Mary stands at the cross, unable to see her son's face clearly, but hearing his breathing, hearing him fight for every breath, hearing him suffer in the dark, and then his voice, loud, stronger than it should be. Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani, my God, why have you forsaken me? Mary knows those words, they're from the Psalms. She taught him those Psalms when he was a boy, and now he's crying them out from a cross. The question pierces her, why have you forsaken him? He's your son, he's my son, he's done nothing wrong. Why? Some in the crowd think he's calling for Elijah. Someone runs to get a sponge, soaks it in sour wine, lifts it on a stick to his lips. He tastes it, then he speaks again. I thirst. 2 words. The God who created water is dying of thirst. Mary hears the weakness in his voice now. He's close. She knows it. A mother knows. His breathing is slowing. The fight is leaving him. She steps closer. She's gripping the wood of the cross now. Her hands on the same beam his hands are nailed to. And he looks down. He sees her. He sees John. And with what strength he has left, he speaks to her. Woman, behold your son, to John. Behold your mother, 3 words to her, 3 words to John. And in those 6 words, he's doing what he's always done, taking care of her, even now, even as he's dying. He's making sure she won't be alone. He's giving her to John, giving John to her. A new family, a new son. Because the son she bore is about to leave her. She wants to scream. She wants to climb the cross and pull the nails out herself. She wants to tell him to stop talking, to save his strength, to hold on. But she doesn't. She just nods. She understands. She's always understood, even when it made no sense. Even when it cost her everything, she understood. And she's understanding now. This is why he came. This is what the angel meant. This is the sword Simeon said would pierce her soul. It's not a metaphor, it's this. Standing at the foot of a cross, watching your son die for sins he didn't commit, for people who hate him because God required it. The sword is going through her right now, and it's not quick, it's slow, twisting, deeper with every breath he takes. Then he cries out again, louder, it is finished, and he bows his head, and he dies. Picture Mary in this moment, the exact moment. His chest stops moving, his body goes limp, the fight is over, the suffering is over. He's gone, and the earth responds. The ground shakes, not a tremor, an earthquake, the rocks split, you hear them cracking. The veil in the temple, miles away, tears from top to bottom, but Mary doesn't know that yet. All she knows is the ground is shaking and her son is dead. She falls, not all the way. John catches her, but her legs give out. The strength that held her upright for 6 hours is gone. She's on her knees at the base of the cross. Her hands are still on the wood. And she's looking up at his body. Limp, bloodied, broken. This is the boy she nursed, the boy she taught to walk, the boy who helped Joseph in the workshop, the boy who laughed and played and grew, the man who healed the sick and raised the dead and said he was the Son of God, and he's dead, killed by the people he came to save. And she watched it happen. The soldiers are moving now. They're checking the bodies. It's almost evening. The Sabbath is coming. Jewish law says the bodies can't stay on the crosses during the Sabbath. They need to speed this up. They take a club. They break the legs of the two thieves. When the legs are broken, the victim can't push up to breathe. Death comes in minutes. Mary watches them approach her son. She tenses, but they don't break his legs. He's already dead. They can see it, but one soldier, just to be sure, takes a spear and thrusts it into his side, between the ribs, into the heart. And out flows blood and water. Mary sees it. The final indignity, the final wound. And something inside her that was barely holding together shatters completely. She doesn't wail. She doesn't scream. She just weeps, silently, her whole body shaking. John is holding her. The other women are around her, but she's alone. In a way, no one else in that moment is alone. She's the mother who just watched her son be tortured and executed, and there's no comfort for that. No words, no theology, just pain. Then movement. A man approaches, well-dressed, older, Joseph of Arimathea. A member of the council, but he didn't vote for this. He's carrying permission from Pilate. He's been given the body. He's brought servants. Ladders, linen, spices. He's going to take Jesus down. Mary watches them set the ladders against the cross. She watches them climb up. She watches them pull the nails out, first the feet, then the wrists. She hears the sound of the nails sliding out of the wood, out of his flesh. And then they're lowering him carefully, gently, and they place him in her arms. Picture this. Mary sitting on the ground holding the body of her son, his head in her lap, his arms limp at his sides. She's cradling him the way she cradled him the night he was born. But this time he's not crying, he's not breathing, he's cold. She touches his face. She wipes the blood away. She smooths his hair. She's whispering something. Maybe his name, maybe a prayer, maybe nothing that makes sense, just the sounds of a mother's grief. The other women are weeping. John is weeping, but Mary is past weeping. She's in a place beyond tears. A place where the soul is so broken that the body doesn't know what to do, so it just holds on. She holds him, and she doesn't want to let go, but they have to move. The sun is setting. The Sabbath is minutes away. Joseph has a tomb, nearby, new, carved into rock, never used. He's offering it. They need to go. Now Mary nods. She lets them take him. They wrap him in linen. They add the spices, myrrh, aloes, pounds of it. They're wrapping him quickly. There's no time for the full burial ritual. That will have to wait until after the Sabbath. They carry him to the tomb. Mary follows. It's a garden, quiet, peaceful. The tomb is cut into a hillside, a low entrance. They have to bend down to go inside. They lay him on the stone shelf. Mary stands at the entrance. She's looking at his body wrapped in white linen lying in the dark. And then they roll the stone, a massive stone, round, heavy. It takes several men to move it, and it seals the entrance. And he's gone, locked inside, dead, buried, finished. Mary stands there. The sun is gone. The Sabbath has begun. She can't stay. She has to go, but her feet won't move. John takes her arm, gently. "We have to go," he says. She nods, but she doesn't move. She's staring at the stone between her and her son. Finally, she turns. She walks away, one step, then another, not looking back, because if she looks back, she won't be able to leave. And she has to leave. The Sabbath has begun, so she walks. Through the garden, through the streets, back to wherever John is staying, and she enters the house, and she sits. And the longest Sabbath of her life begins. Picture her that night, sitting in the dark, unable to eat, unable to sleep, unable to pray. The images won't stop. The hammer, the nails, the blood, his face, his voice. "I thirst." It is finished. The spear, the body in her lap, the stone rolling shut, over and over. A loop she can't escape. And the questions, why didn't God stop it? Why didn't angels come? Why didn't the sky open and the Father say, "Enough"? He stopped Abraham from sacrificing Isaac. Why didn't he stop this? And underneath the questions, the unbearable truth. He did stop it. He could have, at any moment. Jesus said he could call down legions of angels. He didn't. He chose this. He chose the nails. He chose the cross. He chose to die. And that makes it worse because it means he wanted this. Not the pain, but the purpose. He wanted to save them. The same people who screamed, "Crucify him." He wanted to save them more than he wanted to save himself. And Mary, his mother, had to watch him do it. The Sabbath passes, slow, endless. She doesn't leave the house. She sits, she stares. The other women come, they sit with her. No one knows what to say. What do you say to a mother who watched her son be crucified? They just sit, and the hours crawl by. Finally, Saturday night. The Sabbath ends. The women make a plan. They'll go to the tomb at first light. They'll bring more spices. They'll finish the burial rites. They ask Mary if she wants to come. She shakes her head. She can't go back to that garden. She can't see that stone again, so the women go without her and Mary stays, waiting. For what she doesn't know, just waiting. Then footsteps, running, pounding on the door. Mary Magdalene bursts in, out of breath, eyes wild. He's not there, she's saying. The stone is rolled away. The tomb is empty. He's not there. Mary stares at her, not understanding. Not daring to understand. Someone took him, Mary Magdalene is saying. They've taken his body. And Mary feels a new kind of pain. They can't even let him rest. They took him, stole him, desecrated his grave. She stands. She's going to the tomb now. She has to see. But before she can leave, more footsteps. Peter, John. They went to the tomb. They saw it, empty. The linen cloths lying there, the face cloth folded separately, but no body. They don't know what it means. They're confused, afraid. They leave, and Mary is alone again, sitting, staring, trying to make sense of the impossible, and then he comes. We don't know when exactly, the Gospels don't record it, but the tradition is consistent. Before he appeared to the disciples, before he walked to Emmaus, before he showed Thomas his hands, he appeared to his mother. Picture it, Mary sitting in the dark, and a voice, his voice. Mother, she looks up, and he's there, not a ghost, not a vision, him, alive, whole, the nail scars in his hands, the spear wound in his side, but alive. She doesn't scream, she doesn't faint, she just stares. And then she moves slowly, like she's afraid he'll disappear. She reaches out, she touches his face. It's real, warm, he's smiling, and she breaks. All the grief she's been holding, all the pain, all the questions, it pours out, and he holds her, and he lets her weep. And he tells her what she's always known but couldn't see. It had to happen this way. The cross wasn't the end. It was the door to everything. And she believes him, because she's always believed him, even when it made no sense, even when it cost her everything. She's always believed, and now, holding her risen son, she understands. The sword that pierced her soul didn't destroy her. It prepared her for this, for the impossible, for the resurrection.